My final example today explores assistive technology for the elderly. And believe me, the robots are coming. We need to get the gender right for them to be effective. This case study, and now I'm going to engineering and assistive technology for the elderly, and again, full case study. This case study has to do with aging. The world population will age dramatically by 2050, a problem for Europe and a priority for Horizon 2020. Large elderly populations will place a growing strain on human caregivers, health, and social systems. Here we explore assistive technology for the elderly and look at the value added of considering both sex and gender when designing these technologies. Assistive technologies support independent living for the elderly. When developing these technologies, it's important to look at sex differences. Women, for example, tend to live longer but may have more disease. Men, for example, tend to lose their hearing early. And in addition to looking at sex differences, it's also important to look at gender differences. As they age, men and women may have different partnering patterns, experience in household management, and receptivity to technology. Elderly women, for example, more often live alone. Our engineering checklist and methods encourage researchers to analyze how sex and gender interact in individual women and men so that researchers can design the most effective and marketable product. Designers want their products to be useful and appealing to both women and men. Gender issues become important as assistive technologies become more personalized. For example, a number of robots are being developed. One is a robotic nurse named Cody that can bathe elderly people. Bathing will involve a very intimate relationship between human and machine. Designers need to get the gender of the machine right. Another assistive robot is Herb, the home exploring robot butler who can fetch household items for you, fetch you a cup of tea, remind you to take your medicine, or even clean up the kitchen. If there's a robot to clean up the kitchen, I'm ordering it immediately. As these robots enter our lives, we humans will gender them. Studies of machine voices, synthetic voices, that is to say machine-generated voices, show that human listeners assign gender to machine voices. That is to say, we interpret these machine voices as the voice of a man or a woman, even when designers may have tried to create a gender-neutral voice. As soon as humans interpret a voice as masculine or feminine, we tend to apply all of our cultural stereotypes to the machine. Considering sex and gender when designing new assistive technologies will be one important factor to ensure that the products are successful with all users.